Hi, welcome to Grace Place Farm and Gardens. My name is Mason Prescott, and this is the Build Your Own Farm Store series. Today, we're going to be talking about marketing. So, get your computers out and let's get into it. So today we're going to be discussing marketing for your farm store. We've gone through a lot of steps. You've gone through all the stages of what it actually means to physically get this thing built, stocked, filled in. Now, how are they going to know? How are they going to know, James?
Well, I used an analogy earlier that profit or cash is kind of like the gasoline to a business. Well, if the business is a plane, marketing is like the engines.
Wow.
Because in many ways, you're going to need to spend a little bit on marketing to keep your business or your farm moving in a direction where customers constantly hear about it. And the reason I say that is you are going through your day. You know where you like to shop. You know like what food you like to get. So if nothing disrupts what you're normally doing, then rarely will you just one day wake up and think, I wonder if there's a farm store down the road.
Exactly.
Unless something else disrupts you. Maybe you see a documentary, maybe you are realizing, I don't know if this food is good for me. Maybe you have a health situation and you're looking for something more organic or locally raised. So I'd say marketing is vital, because if you have a business, or especially if you have a small farm, shouting the message in a way that your customers need to hear it is going to be the best tool in bringing people to connect with you. And that natural relationship will begin to form over time.
Absolutely. So we took a lot of different avenues, and we're going to break down in brief each one we chose to do, because we didn't just stick with one option for marketing. We picked a lot of different ways to try to get the word out. So the first one that seems pretty popular nowadays is text message marketing.
Text message marketing was kind of on our minds from the very beginning, because even when we started going to the farmer's market in year one, as we checked out our customers, we would ask them, hey, would you like to stay in touch? We're opening a farm store soon. Would you be willing to share your number with us?
Right.
And we would write down their name and number.
Yeah, and this worked really smooth for us. We already talked about Square, so this already was integrated in with our system we already had. So this worked pretty seamlessly.
Right, so we had the situation turned on, so people put in their credit card information, or they swipe or tap, and we put their name and number. So it worked out great. So we have their information, and we knew that we could run text campaigns through Square. So what we would do is we would send out little notices. Hey, the farm store is getting ready to open, or this week we're doing chicken and egg sales, come on by. And we had online orders open at the time, and it seemed to be a good way just to get the word out.
Right. How often were we sending text messages?
Maybe once a month.
Okay, so this isn't anything we were trying to like spam people with or really overdo it. This was a much more, I'd say, tempered. We want to make sure we're not abusing the trust that was really given of our customers sharing their personal information with us, so that anytime we are communicating something, it's actually worthwhile and valuable.
Especially texts, because texts have about a 90% open rate. Emails maybe 20, 30% on a good day. So everyone's gonna see their text, it's just, are you annoying them or not?
Right. The next thing I want to talk about is Facebook ads.
Yes, Facebook we use primarily leading up to the grand opening. I think a lot of farms, their primary marketing tool is Facebook, and frankly, we're still growing and using our Facebook page to let people know what we're doing and what we're growing. People market on Facebook Marketplace. They share their produce, their homemade goods, jams, jellies, sourdough. I see lots of sourdough in Facebook Marketplace. But Facebook is great because it's not only social, so people are on there. It's not only kind of a business place, marketplace, but you also have events. So we're able to create an event on Facebook and then put out a promotional video, and then invite people to the event, and people can share it and comment about it.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we actually put together our own promo videos for this. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, so YouTube has always been on our mind, hence you seeing through the camera right now. We wanted a YouTube channel, but we didn't immediately jump into that. I think that was intentional. Starting a farm is way more than you anticipate it's gonna be. I'm sure many of you farmers already know that. Everything takes longer than you think it will, and it's just very taxing, especially if you're new and inexperienced like we were. So starting a YouTube channel at the same time, we decided we just capture content, and hopefully you'll see later on in the YouTube channel more content coming out showing the journey. But we loved the idea of putting together kind of a recap of how the farm came to be as it related to the farm store.
Right, because we want to do the best we could to tell a really big story in a really short amount of time for any of that audience we're capturing. So when you're considering marketing, consider, hey, how do I communicate my story? Maybe you have a friend or someone who enjoys taking videos or piecing something together, because again, that might not be your wheelhouse, but maybe you have a friend or someone that could do that. But don't overcomplicate it. Don't make it like it has to be this massive professional production. I would say, shoot what you can.
Show yourself.
Be honest with your audience and you'll be happy with the results. So we talked about digital marketing already. Go ahead and break it down for everyone else, everything else that kind of followed that in the physical side.
Well, we had grant funds specifically for some of the digital things, but a big portion of some grant funds was to do a physical mailer, because we wanted to see, would people come just from social media, text marketing, YouTube, Facebook, but also what if we mailed to people's door? And the USPS has a service called EDDM, which is Every Door Direct Mail. It lets you design, say, like a postcard. You've probably gotten them from fast food restaurants or maybe a local gutter company. But we thought, well, what if we do a grand opening? And we put together a grand opening thing to advertise that we were going to share about sustainable agriculture and invite people to the farm and show them the farm store that was now open. So that was one idea that we put together. And then we were also printing things with a local print shop. So we have a trifold brochure sitting on the table over there that we could give to customers, and it gives them background of the way we're farming organically, farming for families in mind, as well as posters that educate people on the types of products we have in the farm store.
Which was also a great avenue, because this broke into a whole other side of marketing, which is word of mouth.
Yes.
And so you get the joys of getting to bring a poster, something you put together, take it into business, say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and would you be willing to advertise this for us? And then from that, you're also getting to build local connections as well with other business owners. And from there, you'd be surprised at what connections you might make, or what other future partnerships you might be able to do.
Whether it's a juice bar, a chiropractor. I mean, lots of people came even that very day who had posters in their store.
There's a lot of great support from the community.
And one thing I have to touch on is the free marketing, because we paid for everything that we've listed so far.
Yeah.
But something that was free that I was not expecting was what would happen when we reach out to local news outlets. So I emailed radio stations, local business journals, news coverage, and some people said, yes, do you want to pay for advertising? But the majority of people either said, we're so excited about this, or even better, they said, we'd love to do an interview. I mean, you got to do what?
We did a couple different interviews, one with a local news network where they came out and they filmed on site. They showcased some of the farm. We walked them through the farm store.
10 o'clock news that night.
That's right. It was surreal, but really exciting to get to see. And then later on, we also had a radio station reach out, and they took some time out of one of their local shows to get our story and get to share a little bit about who we are and what we're offering to our city.
And what was cool is as people heard the stories, like they re-engaged and said, let's do an even longer segment. And then even Sioux Falls Business reached out and got to have all these different free articles of people saying, look what's happening in our community. And people have a value for this stuff. So don't underestimate the free marketing. That's something I did from the get-go. And just by sharing your story, you'll be amazed at how many people are interested.
Definitely. So there's lots of different avenues. We've covered all of them. But don't feel stuck on just those. But these are different places that you can get started on any of these for no cost to any cost of whatever you want to spend on it. You can spend no money, you can spend $1,000. The choice is yours, but find what works for you. Find the option that is going to cause the best breakthrough. And that's actually leads right into my final question I have for you, James. What do you think was the most effective thing, or what was the most surprising response you got out of the marketing?
Well, it's a bit of a toss-up. I think one, the mailer, that was easily the most expensive. I mean, we were in the thousands of dollars when it comes to doing a print that much, a color print to that many households on postal routes. However, as you'll see in the next episode, hundreds of people showed up to the grand opening. So that really seemed like it paid off. On the other side, I think the 10 o'clock news interview that happened the week of the grand opening,
definitely,
like people were coming in for weeks afterwards saying, I saw you on the news, I've been meaning to come out. So one was free, one was paid. It's a little bit of both. And I'd say the text marketing is so important because our regular customers get notified.
Yeah. So check in, figure out where your local outlets are and do your best to connect there, and also look into mailers. Thank you guys again for joining us for this episode. We're really excited to break down marketing for you. We're getting close to the end of our series, but I'm really excited to dive into our big grand opening episode, talking through all the things that went well and didn't go well for our opening of this farm store and everything that we learned from that. Thanks for joining us.